You are listening to the VCast.
What's up? It's the VCast. We are back. It's your boy Slick Vic in the building. I'm here with Chris Carfaro. ¿Qué pasa, papi?
Not much, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We just fucking crushed it at the open mic because we're fucking bandoleros. Just chilling. I fucking had to go down there and get slick. I was like, you know what? I'm fucking wetting my fucking hair for this one.
Yeah, it looks nice.
I got fucking the shower going. I'm fucking feeling nice. I'm actually going to go get it braided tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, I got the appointment set. I'm going on vacation this weekend. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going all in on it.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Florida, Mom's.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Just the fucking
Gotta
same thing, do
fit in with the
nothing.
boys.
Dude, you know, my job was letting me go on like every summer. My mom got cancer like 3-4 years ago. It's like right before the pandemic, like the summer before the pandemic. And she had to get surgery. She had lung cancer, and she had to get surgery to get half of her lung removed.
Oh, fuck.
And then she also got COPD on top of it. But my mom's good, right? So, but in the beginning it was like scary, but now she made a full recovery. She's been cancer free. I think they call it
In remission.
In remission. She's officially in remission because you got to do like a year of certain tests or whatever. So she's officially in remission. She's good now. But when it first happened and she had the surgery, my job let me go down there for a month.
Oh, it's awesome.
To work from home. Like they let me work remote, and I stayed with her, you know, while she was recovering, and I brought my daughter with me. So like my daughter stayed there for like the summer, and then she was probably like 3, maybe or 4. And my mom's got a pool and everything. So we just stayed there. And I think like my daughter being there, like me and my daughter being there was like a big part of what helped her get better. You know, it gave her something to do every day. Like she was, fighting. Like it gave her that fight, remind her that there's something to fight for and shit, you know?
Yeah, was she like all laid up?
In the beginning she was, because you know what, like now with technology being the way it is, removing half your lung is an arthroscopic surgery. You know, like it's fucking, and what that means, people, is they didn't have to bust her fucking whole chest cavity open like they used to. It used to be like open heart surgery. You have to like break somebody's chest cavity open and get into the lungs. Now they go in through the side with some fucking robot arms. Yeah. And they go in there and they cut that shit in pieces inside, and they just remove the little pieces. Fucking.
My mom actually, she had a septum in her heart. There was a hole in it. It gave her a stroke. And that's actually how you remember Dr. Oz? Mm-hmm. She was on the Dr. Oz show, got the ports drilled in there. You saw the robotic arm going and stuff like that. I think she was like one of the first patients, at least in New Jersey or something like that, to get that type of surgery. Now she's doing good, man. They like sew up grape skins with those things and shit.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, it's
technology's fucking nuts, because just 10 years ago, that would have been like the worst, most invasive surgery. The recovery from it would have been hectic. And like the surgery's so brutal. And my mom's like 73 years old. She's frail. You know what I mean? Like that there's no way you're going to smash my mom's chest open and she's coming back from that. Like, you know, like bounce back. Now she's fucking shopping by herself. Like she still does all the stuff, same stuff.
That's awesome.
And she doesn't wear like oxygen. Like she sometimes she puts it on, but it's more for her COPD. Like that stuff's brutal, dude.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Because that's like when your lungs fill up with mucus and stuff, right? And you just can't
can't get a full breath,
dude.
What?
I have a hard time going to bed after I eat ice cream. Like, I can't imagine.
And it's like, it's the same thing. It's like you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
And like that was like my gripe with my mom all my life because she smoked a lot. She used to smoke like a carton a day.
Damn,
Of
dude.
I'm sorry, that's so retarded. A carton a week. He was like, what?
Your mom's how old?
Your mom's the cowboy lady, the Marlboro lady. That's who your mom is. No, my mom used to smoke Merit cigarettes.
Damn, I don't even know what that is.
They're just like this gold pack of cigarettes, this yellow. It was white with yellow and gold. And I don't know. It was just a light cigarette, like a Marlboro Light. And then I remember once I started smoking, I would like steal cigarettes from her, or I'd steal a pack. I would just get brazen.
Damn,
like
that's ballsy.
if she bought a new pack, it had to be like, because there's 10 packs of cigarettes in a carton. She'd have to be down to like 5. Like she'd have to have taken 3. Right. There had to be like, so that then she would question. There's that leaves the number question. You can't get 6 because then it's one more than 5. It's easy to remember. It's one more than half. 2, or then you're like, there must have been only 6. But if there was 6 and you take it and now there's 5, immediately. You got that half recall. No, there wasn't half yet. I had 6.
Dude, that's when you know the addiction's taking
Right?
hold, when you're doing fucking cigarette math.
Just fucking counting it up. I used to have to plan heists in my mom's room to get chocolate or to get cigarettes. Those are the 2 heists. I never stole like money from my mom. That's a lie. I stole money once when I was like 9 years old, and I was in my mom's bed before school. So the thing was, before school, I was always by myself. I made myself breakfast. My mom was already at work. She left for work at 6. So I was up. I had to wake myself up. I had to get dressed by myself.
Damn.
I had to brush my teeth since a little kid, right? Since 7, 6, 6, 7, like kindergarten, first grade. I used to walk to school by myself. Like I was a full functioning young fucking loner.
Do you have like a briefcase and shit that you brought to school?
Just walk to school as a kid. I used to be like, this school traffic was a bitch when I came back home and shit. No.
I just can't wait for recess.
My sister would help me sometimes before she went to school, but for the most part, it was me by myself. So one day I'm in my mom's room, just laying on the bed, and I find all these $100 bills underneath the pillow.
Oh, damn.
Right, she had there was like $700 or $800 crispy, nice $100 bills. I was like, oh shit. So I took one, and then I went, and on my way to school, I stopped at every single store and kept changing it and breaking it down till I got all hundreds. Right? Then I had 100 singles in my hand plus my $3 that I had for my lunch money that I used to get every morning. And then I went, and then on the rest of the way home, whenever I went to buy something, I'd take that whole knot out and peel that $1 off that was mine and spend it. So I was like,
wait, how old were you?
I was like 8, 9 years old. I was just fucking dumb.
Dude, we had wildly different childhoods.
Bro, I got home, and my mom, because I used to disappear after school too, because I had to go home by myself. So I'd go hang out and stuff and fucking be home at like 6 and shit. And I got home, and my mom was on me immediately. Was like, what did you do? You took my $100. Where's my $100? Like right away, I was like, oh, and I fucking took it out and I gave it to her, every single dollar. It was just in singles, but I gave it to her. She was like, you didn't spend any of it? I was like, no, I just wanted to pretend like I had money. Like I was pretending I wasn't stealing.
Dude, she probably thought that you were like an 8-year-old trying to go to a strip club.
Yeah, she's like, what is wrong with this? She just knew I'm a freaking maniac, and I was like that as a kid.
That's insanity. Dude, like so different. Like when I found my brothers like chewing tobacco, I didn't know anyone that smoked cigarettes. Like everyone around me were all athletes, so we didn't like want to smoke. We'd always do chewing tobacco. I found that when maybe I was in like 8th grade, about to go into high school. I tattled on him. Like, dude, I was such a bitch.
Just like I'm telling.
I was like, Mom, what is all this stuff?
No, I never found. The funny thing is, I grew up around a lot of shit. Like my aunts and uncles were drug dealers.
Oh shit.
And not just like any drug dealers. Like they ran blocks of heroin, like serious business. Like when I was little, like they would be like big bags of cash and stuff. And this is like, I know this from whatchamacallit, from third hand accounts.
Yeah.
Right. I was too little to really understand what I was around, you know. But I remember one vivid memory of being, because my aunt and my uncle both died like when I was little, very little. And my uncle died because somebody killed him over his territory. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's fucking nuts. And he, when I was little, the only memory I have of being in my aunt's house was getting a roach in the cereal box and freaking the fuck out. And then
the bug.
Yeah. And then
like a joint.
no, like a fucking roach came out of the cereal box, and I freaked out and didn't want to eat. And they got mad at me, like I was doing something. Like, yeah, like if I was the wrong one, I'm like, "What are you talking about? If I call the health department, do you know what would happen? The health department will shut this establishment down."
Are you serious?
This was in the fucking 80s. There was no health department.
Oh my god!
And this was in the 80s in the fucking Bronx. This is it was such a crazy. I didn't grow up in the Bronx. I'm actually the only member of my immediate family that wasn't born in the Bronx. All my brothers and sisters were born in the Bronx. I was born in Jersey. My mom took me out.
Smart lady.
Then I proceeded to spend the rest of my life pretending like I was from the Bronx anyways. Fucking made her happy.
I went to school up in Fordham when I went back. And
yeah, we're recording.
oh, okay. I saw this flat line.
You died. Say something.
Oh,
Hey.
What's up?
Sounds like you were.
Hello? Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe I was just too far away. Let me tell you, technology is not my strong suit.
Are you high?
Dude, I might
Did you
be.
get high like me?
What was I saying? Oh, I went back to school and went to Fordham, which is in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived on like Little Italy, like Arthur Avenue, which is the Little Italy of the Bronx. And it was like so nice because I'm Italian and like you just go all over the place. You go into a store maybe twice and everyone's just like treating you like family. Like, oh, what's up? How you doing? Like, can I get you this, that, and the other thing? And then you walk like a block over and like I'm from the country. So like being in the city is already just like a completely different experience for me. You go a block over from that and it's just like the hood.
Mm-hmm.
I saw bulletproof glass on a KFC and I'm like, I am not in my element right now. You mind your P's and Q's, bud.
Why is this chicken so valuable? You're telling home, be like, hey, listen, man, I don't know. It's crazy over here. These fucking people really love chicken. Like, they protect it like it's cash.
If you're shooting someone for a 3-piece, dude, you got some issues. How are things at
so
home?
bad. Yeah. These fucking people. Hey, listen, what they said about black people and chicken, it's fucking real. Like, these people,
They're dying over it.
Yeah, they'll kill over some chicken. They got bulletproof glass and KFC. That's fucking. Where in the country are you from?
So I'm from Jersey, in like Morris County, but, like all the way west, like kind of towards Pennsylvania. And I
Country.
I grew up like never saw a single neighbor. Like all through the trees, everything's divided up. Like got 4-wheelers and dirt bikes all the time, and like even moving. Or the first times I would go to like Morristown because that's like the big place to hang out when you're like where you're from when you're from Long Valley, which is where I'm from. And like that was too much of a city for me, you know. And if anyone goes to Morristown, it's like almost just as country as like where I came from. So it was like an eye-opening experience.
What? So you grew up in that part of Jersey,
Yeah.
and then you left to go to school in Fordham.
So I went.
That was your first experience.
Yeah. No. So my first experience was Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Okay. All right.
Because I went to undergrad at University of Scranton, which is like a depressed coal town. It used to be like a huge city in Pennsylvania, apparently, and then coal industry died. So it was like super depressing all the time. The only thing that like really brought in any money was the school. And then I went back to school after working for a while to Fordham to do like a career-changing path because I thought I was going to go to medical school, and that didn't pan out. And then I did a bunch of courses online at like Arizona State just to like try to get some sort of anything going at the time. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and then I became a research scientist.
How is Scranton? Isn't Scranton where Dunder Mifflin is?
Yeah. It's It's not like the show at all.
I don't even think they do. They cover Scranton.
They
so
barely
much, right?
cover
Except
it.
when they do like a.
Yeah, it's funny because like just because I went to school in Scranton and I didn't really watch The Office until I left. Like they just kind of throw in like geographical like little key phrases and stuff like that. Like, oh, I went to Cooper's Seafood last night on my date. Like, how did that go?
Yeah.
But it was not bad. Like being in the college is definitely different from being in the actual city. Like I actually went back when I changed jobs to Scranton because I had the job was right there, and I was like, oh, I'll probably, at least I know the places to go. I know a couple people there maybe, and that was during COVID, and I saw maybe like 5 people every single day because it's a depressed coal town before COVID, and then after COVID, everyone's locked up inside, so like you don't see anybody. Wow. But it was a lot of fun going there at the school because the school is kind of like the only thing in town. All of the college kids kind of like, run around causing havoc, and the locals kind of can't do anything about it. And then when I went back, it was just like so depressing because I was not having any fun, and literally there was nothing to do. I was away from all of my friends. So it was not long. I was there for like 7 months, and I was like, I've had enough.
And then, so when you went from Scranton to Fordham.
Yeah.
Fordham. Well, you said you lived in fucking Little Italy. People don't know that the Bronx has Little Italy. Like that's actually the real Little Italy.
I didn't know that. All I knew was what's it called? A Bronx Tale was filmed like right there.
That's why it's the real Little Italy, because all the Italians were really from the Bronx.
Yeah.
And that section. And then they just got pushed in little by little by little. Actually, I think
one
they just
street.
started moving out. Now it's just Arthur Ave, right?
Yeah, it's one street. Because I was there right before the pandemic, so 2017, 2018, and it was literally the block that's across from Fordham is the main stretch, another block, and then once you get to the end of that block, it's weird because there's like all these Albanian stores, and it's like Albanians are kind of like the Walmart Italians, So it's just like really funny that they're starting to get pushed out and the Albanians are starting to come in.
They got their own mafia too.
Yeah.
Right? The Albanian
they're always
they don't fuck
copying
around.
us. Yeah.
They're like, hey, forget about it. They do it this way.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Fuck it this way.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right living there.
I fucks with the Albanians. I used to go to school with a couple Albanians. They're fucking aggressive.
Yeah.
Aggressive fucking
Very
people.
aggressive. And apparently just like, at least in my area, they're all restaurant owners. Like there's 5 restaurants in my immediate area that are all owned by Albanians. They all say that they're cousins, but just clearly not. Like none of them look alike at all. Yeah, it's weird. They make great food.
I want to fuck around, and I need to go to. I want to go back to Arthur Ave.
It's fun, man.
And get some food. I think I'm trying to remember where I went to eat, because somebody kept telling me that I have to go there. Like, because I went to Little Italy once, and I had what's that place? I think it's called Carmine's, where they serve like the massive freaking plates.
Yes,
right. That's
I think
Carmine's.
So. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like you order one plate for yourself, and it's like 3 days worth of food.
Yeah,
it's like a monster plate. I went there, and I remember telling somebody, "Oh, I had Carmine's," and they're like, go to the real Little Italy. You know how people are.
Yeah, exactly.
Go to the real Little Italy in the Bronx, Arthur Ave. And then I fucking went somewhere. I don't remember.
The only place that I really remember from there is, and I don't remember the name, of course, because I'm an idiot, but there was a deli or a butcher shop, actually, and they're like famous for all of their cured salamis. And you walk in, and they're just like all hanging from the ceiling, like ornaments almost. And they all got like that white powdery like mold spores, because that's what it is. It's all mold, and then like some of them you can kind of tell are starting to turn, which is kind of disgusting. Yeah, 'cause I'm a huge germaphobe, and I'm like walking under all these things. But you order the food there, and it's like every single thing I've ever had was just the best version of that. Any Italian food you could think of, they like will cut the meat straight off, like jamon, straight from the leg of the pig, straight onto your sandwich. You eat that, and it's like, oh my god,
that sounds amazing.
Heaven, man.
Making me hungry.
Yeah, I'm starving. I'm trying to eat healthy, and it's not working.
No. What are you trying to do?
So I always like going to spurts of like doing keto and stuff like that. But I had a week when I was on vacation, and I'm like, all right, things need to change. Otherwise, you might not have
that
feet.
talk with yourself.
Yeah, dude.
That come to fucking Jesus moment. You're
Yeah.
looking at yourself in the mirror because you're just taking your fourth shit of the day.
Yeah.
Hey, that's me today. That was me today. That's why I laugh when you're saying this, and I can identify so much because that's me today. Looking in the mirror at myself after taking my fourth shit of the day, and I'm looking at myself after what I did to myself this weekend, and I'm like, just stop eating, bro. Just stop.
It's impossible.
Looking at myself in the mirror, I'm like, why can't you stop? I just did 4 weeks of carnivore, lost 25 pounds.
Really?
Yeah. It
Fuck
was
yeah.
amazing.
I'm always afraid to go full carnivore. I don't know why.
Great. It was fucking, it is really good.
Yeah.
It is like the way you make me feel, like the way I was feeling was really like, I just felt so much like clearer in my head. Like I wasn't brain fogging so much. I felt energized. I wasn't like groggy. I was also working out too consistently. So it's hard to tell which was
Right.
the main driver, but the both together, like I was feeling great. And then I forgot what happened. I fucking slipped on something, and then I just went down
It's always just like
went
one
down the
thing.
beaten path. Now I'm fucking a day in, and I'm killing a family pack of double stuffed Oreos. It's just fucking gross. But whatever. I lost 25 pounds. I'm still up like 23, 21 pounds.
Yeah.
Probably. I probably
Do
gained
you,
some of it back.
do you fluctuate a lot?
No, I don't. Well, that's a lie. The problem is I fluctuate. It takes me a long time because I
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
I intermittent fast all the time. So I'm not eating all day, so I don't gain it fast.
Right.
I gain it over a long period of time. The next thing you know, I'm like, oh, God, I'm almost 270. I gotta fucking stop. And I'll lose it all the way back down to 240, 235. And then I'm like, then I'm good. And
Yeah.
I've reached fucking peak.
Dude.
The problem is I get high. And people are like, don't blame the weed. I'm like, I'm not blaming the weed. This is just a factor. All right. Because I get high and like there's no off button.
Yeah.
Like yesterday I ate a chicken parm hero. Right. And it was amazing. It was so good. And I didn't finish it. I left like this much, but I also had garlic knots, and I had like 2 garlic knots, but I ate the most of the sandwich. And then I had some Oreo cookies, and then I stopped. This was at like 8:30, 8 o'clock. Then I stop. I smoke after I eat, and I'm chill. I watch TV. Now 9:45, 10 o'clock. I'm back in the fucking
The Oreos.
no, the garlic knots. I'm back in the I walk past them in the kitchen, and I'm like, take a bite.
I think the problem is because like I get the same way whenever I smoke or do anything like that. It's like I'm not hungry. I just know that food's gonna taste amazing, and if I'm gonna be high, like I want the full experience of being high. You know, I want to play some fucking trippy ass music or watch a good movie and just stuff my face with garbage.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Fucking that. I think that's what it is. It's like almost becomes like something you do, like a hobby. It's like playing video games. Like you just want to fire it up. Like I probably shouldn't play video games right now. I probably could do some work. Fuck it. I'm going to do it anyway and binge. And next thing you know, oh, this half hour of video games you were supposed to play is now 4 hours in. And you got fucking Oreo dust all over your chest.
The problem is like I always want to eat healthy because you just got it's like better to be healthy regardless. But it's like I also just love food so much and like love the different types of food and really enjoy it. So it's like I don't think I'll ever not eat that way. You
I
know?
don't want to be restricted.
Yeah, like what my problem is I can't eat that way every single day.
Yeah.
Like I can't double up on pizza anymore, you know?
And there's so many good pizza places. There's so many good pizza places. Like I was probably like 3 weeks into the carnivore diet, and then like I'm seeing all of a sudden it's like the algorithm is like, hey, oh, you can't have pizza? Watch this. Nonstop pizza videos of these people making these delicious pizzas and taking them out of the oven. And then I'm constantly telling myself like, hey man, you're gonna be able to eat again. It's okay. Like you'll have the pizza one day. Like I want it now.
Dude, you know what movie you should watch if you're like self-conscious about your eating that'll change your life forever is The Whale.
Oh,
Have you ever seen that?
No.
So it came out last year, and Brendan Fraser, who like hasn't been around since The Mummy.
Oh, this is
shit
the
like
movie
that.
he did that he gained all that weight for and
Yeah,
shit?
he gained a lot of
okay.
weight, but it was like prosthetics. A lot of people gave him shit because he was wearing like a big fat suit, and they're like, "Why don't you give it to like a regular 600-pound actor?" It's like because there's no 600-pound actor that can act like Brendan Fraser. You know,
Exactly.
It's crazy. He won the Oscar for the movie. Like the acting choice was correct. But he literally, there's one scene, and spoiler alerts, but this has been out for a while now.
Too bad.
There's one scene where he's literally like face fucking himself with sandwiches, like just gorging everything. I think he put like a jar of peanut butter on top of a pizza and then slapped another piece of pizza on top of it and just like shoved it in his face. And then quick cut to him just sobbing, crying, and throwing up into a garbage can. I lost 25 pounds in a month after that. Not a month. That's ridiculous. In 3 months after that movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I'm never eating again.
Dude, it definitely becomes an illness. And like I was talking to before about my mom and how she used to smoke the cigarettes and stuff, and you're like, why can't you stop? And it's the same behavior because I'm eating to the point where I know this isn't going to be good for me, right? And then the next day, or even at night, you ever fucking wake up in the middle of the night throwing up in your own mouth? Because you had an indigestion and you just burped up, throw up, and you're like, you wake up and you have to swallow it back down because you're still in bed. And like my first reaction is like, you disgusting fucking pig, stop it. Don't eat anymore. Like, don't do this anymore. Just don't do this anymore. Tomorrow, when you wake up, this is, we got to stop. Don't eat anything. We're going to fast until 4 o'clock. And then the first thing we're going to eat is scrambled eggs. And like, then at 2 o'clock, I'm fucking halfway into an Italian hero. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess it's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, it's
the problem is you don't have to smoke cigarettes to live, like you need food. Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're covering any new ground, but it's a problem. It really is.
No,
not a fun one.
That's a fucking terrible problem.
Yeah.
They need to figure some shit out.
Dude,
we need a pill. That's what we need.
Yeah, Ozempic.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That shit fucks with like your bone density and your muscles.
That's what the Hollywood people are doing, right?
Yeah, apparently that's what everyone's doing.
No, man. I'll take clenbuterol or Anavar. I'll take Winstrol. I don't know what the fuck the name of that pill is that you just talked about.
Ozempic.
Yeah, no, thank you,
dude. It's fucking weird, and I think it's just one of those things where it's like you don't need it. You just need better food, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You
got to make better decisions. But the problem is that's hard.
Yeah.
And it'd be much easier if there was a pill that I could just take for anything.
Yeah.
For everything, right? You always hear people talk about if you could exercise and take like the way exercise make it feels and put it in a pill, like everybody would fucking take it. I'd take everything. Everything was in a fucking pill. Like if I didn't have to drink water anymore, I could just take this pill and I'm hydrated the fucking rest of the day.
Don't you love fucking cold water?
It is nice, but like,
day.
yeah, when I'm playing basketball or something, it does fucking cool you down.
Yeah.
It's very fucking refreshing. Yeah. My mom does not like water. That was another thing. Like,
that's
part
an
of the
old person thing.
Part of the way she got better was that she started drinking water because before that, it was Pepsi and coffee.
Oh, that's a crazy
That's
combo.
all my mother ever drank in her whole life.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen, if it wasn't alcohol, like my mom wasn't a big drinker later in life. When I was young, she would go to parties and stuff, but she wouldn't drink at home. At home, it was just Pepsi and coffee. I'm drinking fucking coffee at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's insane.
Getting home. Like, she worked in coffee. Like, that's what she worked in. So she'd be drinking coffee at night, like late. She'd have like a cup of coffee like when she got home before dinner and with 6 cigarettes. Just fucking chimney
She must
smoking.
have had the biggest diarrhea.
Oh, dude, she must have dropped fucking nuclear bombs that I didn't know about. My mom never pooted in front of me.
Lucky son of a bitch.
I don't think I've ever even heard my mom fart. That's funny. I don't think I've ever even thought of that.
Dude.
Yeah, cigarettes and fucking coffee. So now, like, getting better, part of her getting better was that she fixed her diet up you know, like and drank more water. Now she's drinking.
I mean, that's why creatine's good for you because it makes you retain water, but a lot of that's in your brain. It's like if your brain doesn't have water in it, I think it's either water or oxygen your brain takes in the most out of like any other organ in your body. Now that I'm saying it, I think it's oxygen. But the same thing with water. It's like if it doesn't have what it needs to operate, like the rest of your body can't operate. Yeah. You know, and like that's the easiest thing that you can do.
But doesn't water help the oxygen get into your brain? Like there's I think they talk about this with when they dehydrate fighters to make weight and stuff like that. There's like some film or something in between your brain.
It's a blood-brain barrier.
Right, the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah.
And doesn't the blood-brain barrier help bring oxygen to your brain too?
So yeah, that's basically because
I'm a fucking scientist. I have no idea how I know any of this fucking shit.
it's pretty good,
right?
But blood is like what brings oxygen all over the place, right? Your blood cells, they have hemoglobin, which is what the oxygen attaches to, and then it carries it all around. The blood-brain barrier is because there's not, the blood in the brain's separate from the rest of your body, and it has to go through that barrier because obviously your brain's a lot more sensitive than the rest of your body. It can adapt pretty good.
Just like a filter?
Yeah, basically. And a lot of problems like addiction problems they have a hard time solving with medications because a lot of the stuff that they try, the molecules are too big to get through the blood-brain barrier. So you have to think about that. But the other crazy thing is now they're thinking that your brain has a different microbiome than the rest of your body. And that can lead to all sorts of things like depression if it's not good and, a whole bunch of other problems. But if they can't get anything through the blood-brain barrier, there's not really an easy way to fix it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really fascinating. I was into the brain for a very long time when I was doing all of like the science stuff, and I've forgotten so much about it. Like,
isn't that funny? You
everything.
forgot shit about the brain.
Dude, yeah, right. You'd think.
I learned a lot about the brain. I just forgot it. I forgot about it. I forgot it in my brain. Yeah. So you're fucking. That's how we started talking about you coming on the podcast too, because that fucking blew my mind when you said you were a fucking scientist.
Dude, it's crazy.
And you were like, I was a scientist at Pfizer. I was like, what?
Not Pfizer.
No.
I'll never be one of those guys. They're the evil people.
Pfizer guys.
Yeah.
And the one thing I kept thinking about when you told me you were a scientist, I was like, thank God you didn't stay working on the vaccine because James O'Keefe would have catfished you.
Wait, who's James O'Keefe?
James O'Keefe was the founder of Project Veritas.
Oh, I did see that shit.
Yeah, where they fucking get all the fucking.
I would have been the guy that would be like, I don't even know if any of this shit's gonna work. Like,
yeah, they would have had you on a date talking about stuff real quick because that's how they get all those scientists. Is they get them on Tinder dates and stuff with like these really hot girls.
Oh, dude, when I was working on the vaccine, I was single as fuck. I was dropping that line everywhere. It's like, you owe me.
I'm gonna save your life.
Yeah,
technically, I'm a hero.
I had to stop like bragging about it because like of all the shit that was going on.
Right?
Yeah, and like for a while because I was in the sciences, like to get my next job, like it was literally the featured bullet point on my resume that I worked on the COVID vaccines. And I was like, pretty serious guy. Little did they know I'd never graduated with any sort of science degree. I have a marketing degree from the University of Scranton, dude.
This guy worked at fucking Dunder Mifflin.
Dude, I went to YouTube University.
That is great.
But it was like that was the big selling point, and like I was fucking drinking all the Kool-Aid, thought that like we were the top shit. And then one day I was at work, and some lady was bragging that we were doing 6 years of work in 6 months. And I was like, that's just not true. Like, that's impossible. Like, you wouldn't be taking a lunch break if that was true, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was just like, all right, how much other shit are people just kind of like blowing up our asses? There was a lot of other stuff that was just, none of the things that we were being told like really matched what was going on. And you would talk to other scientists and it was all hush hush, obviously, because, you didn't want to be that guy to like be a conspiracy theorist, even though like now it's kind of a lot of the conspiracy theories at the time are just generally accepted right now. So I told you this before, but it was literally like being in the German army, watching Hitler take over and being like, hey guys, I'm all for the national protection, but like, don't you think this is kind of fucked up?
Talking to the back, like, hey man, you can't say that out there.
Yeah, dude. We would literally have an office. It was like me, one guy in HR, and then like another chemist. And we would just every like, I don't know, week or so, we'd all get together in like a back office with like the blinds drawn and stuff like that, and just talk about how fucked up everything was. And people are just like, you know, we're all scientists. Like, we had people from Yale, MIT, Harvard, all of like the top schools, decorated scientists, and they're all just being like, yeah, this thing's the greatest thing ever. And then just objectively, it didn't help nearly as many people as they thought it would, you know? So that was like my final straw where I was like, I can't be in this industry anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So it was weird.
Yeah, that is fucking definitely weird. Because whenever you work, I was thinking about this, like how things get not compartmentalized, but almost protected. Where, you know, some of the big pushback to conspiracy theories is like, there's no way everybody would go along
Right.
with this, right? There's no, somebody would say something, and it's like, yes, but what happens when they say something, right? They get fired, or they get made an example of,
Yeah.
right? So nobody else is going to say anything. Like, you see what they did to Tom? Like, they fucking dragged Tom. Like, Tom, all of a sudden, everybody was cool with Tom. Next thing you know, everybody finds out Tom's been cheating on his wife. Tom has dementia. Tom's, you know, like, he's into QAnon, and they'll just start saying shit about somebody and totally discredit them, push them out of there. You're not getting any money from anybody. Nobody's going to hire you for anything. And it's like, damn, I don't want to be like Tom. I'm just going to keep my damn mouth shut.
Yeah.
Right? So pretty much people could only do two things: stay there and keep your mouth shut, or leave.
Yeah. And when
keep
you don't
your mouth
have
shut.
when you don't have like a strong moral compass, or maybe like, you know, I'm a pretty go with the flow type guy. So a lot of the stuff that was happening at the very beginning of it, I was just like, yeah, like this sucks, but you know, apparently we're doing good. I'm going to keep going with it until I find out more information. But when you're in an organization, they're paying for your home, they're paying for your food, right? Because they're giving you a salary. It is very hard to like have that mental fortitude to say, hey, this is fucked up and I'm not being a part of it anymore. So like that was, I was pretty proud of myself when I quit, actually.
Yeah.
And then I saw my first bill coming in and I was like, fuck.
Fuck, man. You know, you're like, damn. I compare it to, I used to work in, it's called BizOp, in the BizOp world.
Okay.
And this is, people sign up for programs like work from home or sell products online and stuff. They would sign up for these things, and then they would buy coaching to set up a business and sell things online. Once they signed up for the coaching, the people that were on those coaching floors would then sell their information to other sales floors, right? So we would get these people's information after they've already signed up for coaching, and then we would call them and try to sell them business plans and tax services and incorporation services and shit like that.
Yeah.
So we would do that, and the company was doing pretty well. They had the entire 60th floor of the Empire State Building.
Oh, shit.
And it was like Boiler Room. All right, you ever see the movie Boiler Room?
Yeah.
All right, that's what it was like. So we were out of our fucking minds. I was 24, right, 25, jacked out of my mind on crazy steroids, right, hanging out with all these other meatheads in this fucking place, calling people. And come on, Barbara, you know, you're on the fucking phone with these people, high pressure sales, but you're doing like crazy money. These kids are bringing home $10, $12, $15,000 a month, like
Damn.
Easy. And all you're doing is hanging out all day in the city, right? We would get there and start at 10 and leave at 8. Like those were our hours, 10 in the morning to 8 p.m.
That's that work hard,
every
party
day.
hard lifestyle.
Yeah, we would go to the gym. Like you'd leave work and go to the gym. As long as your numbers are getting crushed, nobody cares if you left for 2 hours and fucking went to the gym around the corner, come back. And I consider myself a moral person, but I was right in the mix of it.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't really think about all these people's lives I was ruining, maxing people's credit cards out, knowing that they were getting scammed, but my rationalization was like, we're not scamming them. They've already been scammed. Mm-hmm. We're selling them legit services that they don't need, that they're never going to use. And the funny thing is the fact that we sold them those tax services actually gave them like a little bit of a recourse, like the incorporation shit, so that they can get some of their money back. And
that's good at least.
Like in tax deductions and shit, it's nowhere near. You were better off if you never met us either way. You know what I'm saying? It's not, but it was. So the whole point is, like I'm saying, you're in this kind of like group mentality where you're all it's like us versus them.
Yeah.
Right? Almost like every job I've ever worked at, you develop an us versus them, us versus the customers. Like,
which is insane to think about.
Right? Because they fucking pay your bills.
Yeah, give me money and go fuck yourself, dude.
Yes, continue to give me money, but don't fucking ask me questions, bro. I work in customer service now, and it's like that. It's like, give me your money, but don't fucking ask me for fucking anything.
Do you play sports a lot?
I used to.
Yeah. When you're in like high school and shit?
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of like team building in high school and like
exactly what it is.
Coaching and shit like that. Because, at least when I was in high school, I was fucking gung-ho, like all team, rah-rah, shit like that. And I remember like the first time that kind of broke for me is I played a lot of lacrosse. I played lacrosse in college and shit like that. But I would do a summer league every year. It was like an elite summer team, go all over the country, play games and shit like that. And a lot of the kids were from my area. And, like, some of them went to, like, our rival high school. And, like, before games, you'd have their pictures up and shit like that. And be like, fuck these guys. Like, they don't know shit. Like, we're the best. Yeah. And then you meet them in the summer league. They're on your team. And it's like, oh, this is the nicest guy ever. Like, why did I ever even have a problem? And it's just the same thing. It's that group think. You get conditioned that way. And sports, it's fun. At the end of the day, if you're not an insane person, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you leave it out there.
Yeah, when it comes to jobs, especially like morally questionable shit like that, it can really fuck with you.
Yeah,
for sure. I feel like I'm still just getting out of that.
Yeah, because you don't really consider any of the damage that you're doing because you're in this world with other people telling you that it's okay.
Yep.
And you're like, you almost believe it because you don't want to be bad.
Yeah.
You like
it's all moral compass shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I've watched some of the smartest people, like, arguably in the world. I worked for one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the entire world. Fucking, I'm sure you can figure it out. And, my boss, I would consider one of the smartest people I ever met. And she got like 4 booster shots after being sick with COVID already 3 times, being fine every single time, and then she would still say, like, we need to do this to stop the spread of COVID. And I was like, if everyone's doing it like you were, and the majority of people around me at least were, it would have been gone already. So there's got to be a problem with how we're treating this thing. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we come to a rational place. We can move on from there and figure out what the next steps are. Everyone was just so locked into, like, you had to get vaccinated and you had to follow the rules. You had to do the lockdowns. To admit they were wrong, I think, was a lot of the issue about moving forward from it, Because, like, again, I felt like an idiot. I remember having a conversation with my dad about, like, the lab leak theory early on. And I was like, Dad, like, he was telling me about it. And I'm like, that's so stupid. Like, I can't believe you believe that. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, 5 months later, I literally went and apologized to him.
Yeah.
My dad's a son of a bitch. He was like, I told you so.
Dude, I wanted to go on such an I told you so tour. Yeah. Because for me, it was COVID hit. I had worked and I was doing comedy. I had just got into the dojo here, right? I just started helping Clint. I was just hanging around, and then I did a spot, and I remember doing a joke about people wearing masks. And I'm like, like I've only seen Agent. I was like, if you start wearing a mask, like I'm not gonna take you seriously. Like I was saying stupid shit like that, not knowing what was fucking coming, right? And this was like March 2020, and then I had a weekly show going, and then that got shut down, and things slowly went shut down. And I was just, it was like a snow day for me. That's like my initial feeling. I wasn't scared so much about COVID. I was just like, oh, we're closing. This is going to be like a snow day. I'm going to be home. And then we like work from home and stuff. I brought all my computer stuff home. But the first week home, I got scared because they were showing those footage in China of people getting carried in those fucking bags and everybody wearing those shit. And I was like, damn, this shit doesn't look too fucking great. And then it started getting cases where accumulated, like, they were just fucking hitting you with cases, like the case count. They were fucking like, it's coming, it's spreading, it's over here. Now we got our first cases. I remember being at work, and they had quarantined a section in New York of like upstate New York, like Elmsford or so. Like it was New York, upstate New York. It was like a very heavy Jewish area where they quarantined that area where they were like, don't come out of there. Right. And yeah, like they were like, don't come out of there. They wanted everybody in this area up in New York to quarantine. And the only reason I remembered was because one of the owners is from there, and he was coming to work every day. And I remember thinking in my mind, like, why the fuck doesn't this guy care that he just keeps coming to work and putting not only him, like, I was like, he's not only putting himself in danger, he's putting us in danger. Yeah. And he's putting his wife, like, he's got a sick wife. He's putting her in danger because he could bring something back to her, And then that fear started growing. Then I started doing the, every time I got home, I was taking all my clothes off in the basement, and then going upstairs and getting like a change of clothes.
I never did that. That's funny.
Dude, like straight up, I like taking my clothes off in the basement when I got home, and then washing my hands. And then at the time, my wife would throw me some clothes down, and I'd put that on, and then leave that clothes and put it in the hamper. And like,
dude,
I never got washing the groceries crazy.
Yeah.
But I was close.
Yeah, it's so fucked up too, because it's like you're literally fighting the air, like there's if you said Godzilla was running through the streets of New York, like you'd understand like what the danger actually was. But the other problem is like it's such an abstract idea unless you have like a background in the sciences. Yeah. And again, people can be persuaded either way on that, but like the regular person, it's a fucking virus. They just assume it's everywhere. And that's what I assumed. It was everywhere. And, I even have a background in science. So it's like the fact of the unknown, it just makes people like twist their brains in such weird ways. Yeah. Like I've been noticing, like I've got such bad OCD from it. Like I still like sanitize my hands all the time. I always touch like door handles with my shirt. Like just all that shit. Yeah. And I know it's like all from the pandemic, but it's still got that.
It's that PTSD, bro.
Yeah,
that's what that is. It's PTSD, and I was always into conspiracy theories. I got into conspiracy theories. I know when. It was 2012. I quit that business. I had a falling out with my friend. The FTC had shut that place down in Empire State Building, and then we started our own business, and we started our own in Clifton. And I wasn't doing any sales. I was doing background stuff. Like I was a CAO, Chief Administrative Officer. So I was like in charge of the renovation of the building that we were occupying, hiring everybody, keeping all HR stuff, hiring, firing. I was doing all that, all the admin stuff in the back.
Yeah.
And then they were killing in sales. They were like first 2 weeks there, we were already doing like $2 million a week in sales for the company. So we started growing crazy. The kid got a fucking Ferrari and shit. We had we had a fucking crazy year. Then I had a falling out with him, and I fucking left that business. So I was unemployed, collecting unemployment, and doing nothing all day. So I started watching YouTube videos, and I started getting into. First, it was Ron Paul videos.
Okay.
I became like a fucking diehard libertarian,
Oh, yeah, dude.
right? And I was like watching fucking 2008 debate videos and shit. And I got really into Ron Paul. I read his fucking book, the Revolution, that changed my entire perspective on politics and everything. Then I started getting into the JFK assassination. And like CIA shit, and then I just went into a whole conspiracy of just like the lies, like around the CIA and like the government and stuff, and I became really suspicious about the government. But then like that, it was just like a fascination, right? Like entertainment. I'm like, oh, these fucking things. Like I didn't really go off the deep end with conspiracies. I would just like talking about them because they were so fascinating. And I'm like, well, what do you think of it? But
it's like a story at that point.
Yeah, I'm like, and then it was also, I like telling people things they don't know. Right? So I'd start talking to people about like, hey, did you know about this thing and what this came out? I'm like, well, can you believe this? And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, what the fuck's all that about? Right? So I like doing that shit. Then COVID happened, and slowly, because I've already had those contacts in the conspiracy world where I was privy to those news sources, especially like I read a lot of Ron Paul Liberty Report and stuff, and I was listening to his podcast a lot, and I'm listening to them talk, and I'm like, why the fuck would they lie about this? And then I'm like, why would they lie about this? Why would they lie about this? Why are they lying about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, like it just...
They're fucking lying.
Yeah, and then I'm like, holy shit, they're fucking lying about this. Like, it just slowly progressed into this thing. And, like, the real sad part is that I have zero faith in our health industry now.
Me too.
I have zero faith in the scientific community as not being impartial. Now I'm like, fuck, everybody's partial.
Yep.
Like everybody's motivated politically. Like why everybody cares about politics so much, and like I don't know, man. They did like the best psyop of like all time because they were able to like turn everybody into government defenders.
Yeah.
They
weaponized fear.
Yeah,
like,
man. They're like
literally
droids.
what they did. It's insane. I'm very similar to you. Like I got into like a bunch of different libertarian shit when I was like working on all the vaccine stuff. So like in my 1 year, I had everyone telling me like how they wanted everyone to, believe everything was going. And then I had, all of the libertarian people telling me like all of them were wrong. So it was like a really hard like path to navigate, right? Because I was still trying to like prove myself in the pharmaceutical industry as like being worth my salary almost. So I didn't want to go too far the other way, but they were just bringing up so many good points about how, like you said, everything is kind of being told in maybe not a lie, but a way that is beneficial for someone else, even though it might hurt someone
manipulative.
Very manipulative. And it just got like so crazy that you can't unsee a lot of the stuff. And then you go down even further into the rabbit hole, like you talk about conspiracy theories. The ones that I watch, they're not conspiracy theories, but they're like documentaries about really fucked up old scientific experiments. Like they had one, I think it was called like the monkey brother experiment, where basically they just put a baby in a cage with a baby monkey, and they were just like, "Your brothers now," and they just like locked them in the cage and decided to like map out their behavior. And it's like, great, you learn a lot about the human brain, but also you just put a baby in a cage with a fucking monkey. Like, what are you doing? And it just gets you thinking. It's like, if those people can do that, what's a little money on top of whatever we're doing over here that's going to make, someone else do something fucked up, you know? And it also sucks because the way that you would say to, bring faith back into the community is take out all corporate sponsorship of all of this science, right? But then what is the carrot attached to, that's driving all of these experiments forward? If there's no money in it, people aren't going to just do the science, right? They need money somehow. Now you can kind of decentralize with the internet, and like you can talk about stuff on podcasts, or you can like write a Substack of all of your information. But if you're the smartest guy with no money and no following, like you're not getting your word out there. You're not getting your research out there. There's an opportunity for you, or there's a chance that you never get that opportunity to do that research. Yeah. So it's just like a very weird circle that I don't really know how you get out of.
Yeah. There's just, everything's been corrupted by money. You ever see, there's a documentary called How Big Oil Took Over the World.
I haven't seen that one.
Dude, it's a History Channel documentary. History Channel don't show it no more. I remember because I was watching this documentary, and I remember going halfway through and then looking at the bottom right-hand corner and then seeing the H, and I'm like, I can't believe this is a History Channel documentary. But
it's on cable.
Yeah, it's called How Big Oil Took Over the World, and it's about Rockefeller. And it's about John D. Rockefeller, and it's about his whole life and how him becoming so rich, how he changed the world with philanthropy. I use the air quotes, philanthropy, because what he did with his philanthropy, and I'm watching somebody do it now in a similar way, Bill Gates, is you use
that guy.
You use philanthropy to take over, right? Because what Rockefeller would do is he'd be like, "Oh, you're starting the American Medical Association." He goes, "Oh, wow, sounds like such a great idea. Here's $10 million and, no strings attached. This is for you guys to think, oh, thank you so much. This is really helpful. And I think you guys are going to need more help down the line. And I'd love to be really involved. So along with this $10 million, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you these 2 advisors. And they're going to put these 2 advisors on the board. And they're going to help you guide everything. And then with the money and with the advisors, he would just manipulate shit. And then he would get another big thing that he would do is he would spend a lot of money on scholarships. And what he would do is he'd go to Yale, right, or whatever medical school. And he'd look at the top 10 doctors or the top 10 students in that. And he'd be like, I'm going to sponsor all your, your medical work, your medical schooling and everything. And he would do that. And then he would help these people, and these people would become the top of the field. But they'd also be beholden to Rockefeller.
Yeah.
And then he'd get them into these positions on these boards. And that's how he changed medicine from like a holistic healing medicine where the goal was to make you better, and he changed it to pharmaceutical based, because what they discovered was they could make medicine from the byproducts of oil, because they had a lot of pharmaceuticals are made. A lot of it is made with the byproducts of oil. Same thing with plastic. Damn. All these things are invented because they needed something to do with the byproducts of oil, of making gasoline and shit. So he did that with medicine. He did that with education too, with just going places and fucking stacking them with money and grants and shit. And he just built this like conglomerate of power and influence and all these different places. His dad's name was Devil Bill. His dad's name. His dad was a legit snake oil salesman. Like he would sell fake shit, and he would just do the dirtiest things. And he had a few sons, and he made all their sons fight each other for things, like for ranking in the family. Like it was really fucked up. That's how the documentary starts. Is talking about how his father and how he raised John Rockefeller and all the people.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah. He was so hated. Rockefeller was so hated that they started a campaign of him giving money to kids. He would stand out there and give money to kids so that people would like him, and that's why like a lot of the places in the city that he has that have tributes to him show him like giving change to kids, because they say he always gave money out of his pocket. But that was a coordinated effort to rebuild his image, because people fucking hated him so much because they thought he was a fucking shyster.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
It's so funny, like how history is like. If you hear it from one person, it's like, oh, this guy was the greatest person ever. And if you hear it from someone else that was around, it's like, no, he paid off people to actually enjoy his presence.
Everything. Like, you see Rockefeller's like beloved in New York. He's like in so many things.
They have the whole research at Rockefeller University. It's I think it's only a research university.
Yeah.
There's plenty of research shows there. Yeah.
Bags of money. And then the government tried to go after him. He had this company called Standard Oil, and that was like the big dog. The money that they had, like billions of dollars back in the fucking 20s. Back in like the beginning of the 1900s, this guy had billions of dollars. So the government went after him for antitrust because he was buying up all the smaller oil companies and the drilling companies and shit. And they went after him, and they broke his company up into like 80 something companies. And what they ended up doing was making him so much richer. Like his fucking wealth exploded after that. Yeah, it was just fucking, he's just a fucking massively rich man. And then I think it's his son or his grandson, is David Rockefeller, is the one that's like driving the ship now. He's the one that they always quote in all those conspiracies about the globalism and stuff.
Like
and
New World Order type shit,
like one world government and you're going to like it or some shit like that. You're going to eat fucking nothing and you'll like it.
That's not the guy who said you will own nothing and like it. Is that
Yeah,
him?
no, that's, I think that's Schwab.
Oh, Charles Schwab.
Something like
Yeah,
that,
I
right?
think so.
Yeah. No, Klaus Schwab. Yeah. Charles Schwab is the insurance. Probably related. Right, that's a big fucking insurance company, Charles Schwab. They're probably related. All that banking shit, man, that's where the real fucking evil lies. You ever looked into like the Titanic conspiracy and the Federal Reserve and stuff? Oh man, bro. There was a time in this country where like the elites of the country, like banking and shit, the big conglomerates, they wanted to take over the government and install like a fascist dictatorship. They tried, right? They tried. There was this general called Smedley Butler, right? Smedley Butler.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, what a fucking nerd. He wrote a book. At the time that he wrote the book, he was the highest ranking military official of all time. He was Major Brigadier
Brigadier
General
Butler.
Smedley Butler. What a fucking name, dude. And, hold on, because when you see him, it's even funnier.
Oh, please tell me he's got like old timey Civil War beard.
No. He is. When you see him, you're like, oh yeah, that's Smedley.
Oh, can I snag one of these waters?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I brought him here for. So we don't fucking die of thirst in the attic.
Realize, like, my eyebrows are drooping. I think I might need water.
Look at this guy. So that's a book he wrote, War is a Racket.
Oh, my God. He looks evil.
Google images, Smedley Butler.
He looks like Hitler without a mustache.
Right? This is Hitler if he was an American. But he's actually a good dude because he wrote this book. It's a little pamphlet right here, War is a Racket. Snag it if you can. It's a very easy read.
Okay. And
he writes about how he was he was an enforcer for the fucking corporations, right?
Jesus.
Oh, dude, it's a fucking great book. He talks about the wars that he waged in South America and how he protected farms for the United Fruit Company and like fought competitors and stuff, and how they put their stronghold,
genocided people just to
in
sell
South
fruit.
America, just so that the United Fruit Corporation would have power and influence down there.
Wait, is this the guy who coined military-industrial complex?
That came later.
Oh, okay.
That was Dwight Eisenhower.
I know he said it, but I thought it was somebody else who like coined it.
No, yeah, he was the first one to say it.
Okay.
But who knows who he got it from, right?
Yeah. I mean, it had to be like a term that they used. I feel like he wouldn't just say that in a speech if they hadn't used it before, you know?
Something, yeah, he had to get that from somewhere. So in this book, he also talks about a plot to overthrow the government, right? I think this was after World War I. A lot of the vets were protesting in Washington because they were not getting their GI bills. The government had promised them all this money. They came back from the war. They weren't getting dick. And there had to be maybe 10,000 soldiers living in fucking Washington right in front of the White House or in front of the Capitol. They just made this whole camp, right? And the idea was these men approached Smedley Butler, these high-ranking men. I'll throw a name out there for you, Prescott Bush.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah.
Was he granddaddy or something like that?
Yeah, that's granddad, yeah. DeWalt. No, not DeWalt. DuPont.
Oh, the DuPonts? Okay.
Yeah, the DuPonts, Rockefeller, all these people approach Smedley Butler and they say, hey, listen, we want you to get all these soldiers. We want you to organize them, and we want you to lead a rebellion against the government, because once the military sees you guys, they're going to join you. They're not going to fight you. This was their plan. And you could march into Washington and take over. They wanted Smedley Butler to be the leader because he was the highest ranking, most decorated fucking veteran military official at the time. They wanted him. They say, if you lead, all the men will follow you. And so he went along with them and listened to their story and stuff. And then he fucking went to Congress and was like, hey, these people are trying to fucking overthrow you.
Fucking narc.
Yeah. He went straight. He was like you, right? Snitched on his fucking brother. He was he found the fucking chewing tobacco. He was like, I'm out of here. I'm telling mom.
Hey, things aren't right here.
So he went to Congress and testified under oath that this was happening. And they investigated it and found out that there was a conspiracy to overthrow the government. And then that was it. Mm-hmm. Never talked about it again. And then the Titanic happens. Right before the Titanic, there's a meeting. There's a meeting with all the big bankers and stuff, and they're talking about the Federal Reserve. Once this plan doesn't work to overthrow the government, now they start talking about the Federal Reserve, and they want to create this banking system. And these other high-ranking people, these other rich families, were like, no, that's not a good idea. You want to do communism and shit, and fucking Nazism. That's fucking crazy. We're not going to do that. After this boat trip, when we come back, we're going to stop you.
No fucking way.
And who's on the fucking Titanic? Everybody that was against that fucking plan. All these high-ranking, not high-ranking because they're not fucking officials. They're prominent people.
Yeah, aristocrats.
Aristocrats, okay. Yes. This is a battle of aristocrats. And then they go and the Titanic sinks, and then the Federal Reserve is put into place very shortly after.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve, and the way they did the Federal Reserve was fucking crazy because they did it in secret on a train. These senators with the bankers, they put all this together in secret. And I'm almost positive that not all the states ratified. There's some thing about it that it's technically illegal, it wasn't ratified, but I don't remember all this stuff. But I remember getting into all that stuff, and then I started learning about the Federal Reserve, and that's what fucking boy Ron Paul be harping on, and I'm just that's a shadow organization.
Yeah,
that's a secret.
I mean, they all are. And what you said was kind of crazy about how all of these wealthy businessmen were trying to take down the government. The scary part is now it's they're both together.
They won,
which is crazy.
Yeah, they did it.
I know.
And you know what? They solidified their power. Their power almost came. Their power was challenged in 1963 by a certain fucking president. And they saw what happened that they did to his ass. They
Oh,
fucking left his
fucking-
fucking
yeah.
brains all over fucking Dallas.
Dude, I was listening to an interview. I can't remember who, but they were like shitting on Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and like all of like the crazy conspiracy theories that he has. And the lady was like laughing, and she was like, "Can you believe that he thinks the CIA killed his father and uncle?" I'm like, yeah, I totally can believe that.
Yeah.
He probably knows for a fact that it happened and is waiting to tell people.
Yeah. Can you believe that you don't think that? Like, how
Yeah.
do you not think the CIA had anything to do with that?
The funny thing for the Kennedy like conspiracy is like, oh, was there a second shooter and all that shit? And we're like, who cares? Like, a president got assassinated on national television, most likely by the CIA. I think that's the story from from that entire experience.
Yeah.
You know,
That I remember watching what the hell's the name of that show? Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura questions everything.
I had Ace Ventura in my head.
no, Jesse Ventura, the former wrestler.
The guy who talks out of his butt.
No, not that. The guy that hates transsexuals? No, not that guy. Jesse Ventura. He's a former governor of Minnesota and professional wrestler. And he had a show called, was it Jesse Ventura? No, that's Joe Rogan Questions Everything. Jesse Ventura's had like a conspiracy theory show. And one of the episodes he covered was the JFK thing. And he was like balls deep into JFK. If you ever listen to his podcast, like, and him goes into fucking, he would go balls deep into JFK shit. But he did an interview with the son of the guy. His name was, God damn it, Henry, something like that. He's a pretty famous guy because he was also arrested at Watergate.
Not Kissinger.
No. He was, God damn it, he was in the CIA.
Okay.
And he was arrested at Dealey Plaza. He was one of the 3 hobos that they arrested from the grassy knoll.
Okay.
There was like they said like when everything happened, when you talk to eyewitnesses, all the people in that area said they heard a shot come from the grassy knoll. Everybody looked over there. Some people said they saw the smoke, right, from the rifle, and that the only people that were over there were the hobos, the homeless guys. So they arrested them, and they took them in. Ethan Hunt? No. That's fucking Mission Impossible. Ethan something. I'm almost positive his name is Ethan. And he, anyway, he got arrested there, but he was also in Watergate. He was also one of the guys that got arrested at Watergate.
Wait, really?
Too, yeah. And on his deathbed, he confessed to his son that he was involved in the JFK assassination, that's what they were doing down there. And Jesse, like, they got his recording. They got him on recording. Not Jesse Ventura, his son, got him on recording. And then his son let him hear it. And his son told him about it. And he was like, I never asked him, like, this is some shit he told us. Like, he just said he didn't want to take it to his death, like, to death with him. And he fucking, I gotta fucking look up his name. Ethan.
Yeah.
Jesse.
Suppley?
Remember that guy, Ethan? Supplé. His name is
Supplé?
Supplé.
He's
Suppley.
jacked now.
Dude, he went from fucking fat boy.
Dude, he was Louis
big,
Lastic.
right? Was Friday Night Lights?
Remember
Wasn't he
the
in that?
Titans.
Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
That's
Louis
it.
Lastic. Man, he was like the one guy I was like, all right, at least I'm not as fat as him.
Not anymore. I said conspicuousy. Conspiracy confession. Ethan. All right, see, here's the confession. Conspiracy theory. That was the name of the show.
What, just Jesse Ventura conspiracy
It
theories?
was conspiracy theory with Jesse Ventura. Deathbed confession. See, here's give it Reddit. Reddit always comes through. God damn it. I just want to know this guy's name. I don't want to hear the fucking confession. But everybody is like, has to do such clickbait with shit. Think about grandpa.
Now, trying to find one thing in the internet now is just impossible.
More shows king. God damn it. Sure, Jesse. Arlen Specter. That's not the guy's name. I'm gonna have to go back and fucking watch this episode now. Oswald could have fired the fatal shot. Okay, case in the video. Claim Graciano plausible. Bill Newman, a credible witness, has not changed the story. Breakdown Daily Plaza. Credible Oswald, Jim Harris, Lyndon Johnson. Howard Hunt. That's the guy's
There you
name.
go. You had Hunt.
Yes. E. Howard Hunt. That's why I thought it was Ethan Hunt. E. What Ventura touts as Hunt's deathbed confession wasn't quite that dramatic. In the videotaped interview, a frail but healthy Hunt was questioned by his son, St. John Hunt. What a fucking gay-ass name.
His name was St. John?
St. John. How are you going to give your kid a saint? What if he's a fucking little demon?
Yeah, he's overcompensating for
Right?
something there.
Yeah, right, exactly. He's fucking guilty of his past. Who was not well versed in the nature of his father's job in 1963. As a reporter, I think I have a sense of when people are bullshitting, and there are times when Hunt is clearly peddling fiction. Hunt was alluding to a real mood of hostility among CIA men against JFK in Miami, but I got the sense he was disassembling about real events. Remember, Hunt was a convicted burglar and all-around scoundrel. His suggestion that he was a bench warmer in a plot of his CIA colleagues are intriguing. Given Hunt's loyalty to the CIA, they amount to what law professors call an admission against interest, which is noteworthy. But the uncorroborated claims of a felon are not strong.
But that's the crazy thing about like the internet and the climate that we're in right now. Like that person could literally just be throwing shade because they don't believe them and they're just immediately appealing to authority. I'm a journalist. I know when people are bullshitting me.
Yeah.
So take my word for it. He's bullshitting. It's like that doesn't give me any more of he did it or he didn't do it.
That's another thing that fucking journalism really let me down. Like, if it wasn't for like people like Alex Berenson
Yeah.
and stuff, you know, reporting and being impartial, like even if they, you know, that Alex always does that too. When Alex, like that's my boy, he always does that. He's a former New York Times reporter, but when he writes stuff, he'll let you know where his bias is. He'll say, granted, I'm biased that I think this, but this, and this, like, and then he gives you the points. Like you could really make the decision for yourself. Whereas opposed to a lot of the shit that we're getting now, it's like not trying to give you a biased view. As a matter of fact, they want you to think a certain way about things. And if you don't think along that path that they laid out for you, they look at you like you're fucking retarded.
Then you're biased.
Yeah, they're like, what?
It is the weirdest mind game. And I don't like, sometimes it's obvious, but other times you just have no idea it's coming. And all of a sudden you're like, how am I the fucking bad guy in this situation? It's insane. The one thing I do have to say about like having a background in research, it has made cutting through a lot of the bullshit now that I'm open to a lot more of the ideas a little bit easier, because, you know, I never take a first like hit on the internet as like gospel. I'll spend days trying to like research something if I'm like really passionate about it and want to get to the answer. Like I do a lot of research, but that's also because I haven't had a job in a few months. And, you know, the average person, they're too worried about putting food on the table to take the time. So you have these clickbait articles, and they're like, oh, that's how the world is right now.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a scary situation.
It fucking sucks. All right, I got to wrap it up because they fucking close early today.
All right.
All right, my man. Thanks for coming through. Again, tell people where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, so at Chris Carfaro on everything, YouTube, Instagram primarily. And then I got a podcast. It's called The Huge Movie Podcast. We talk about movies, and we are breaking down the IMDb Top 100 into a bracket and finding out what the greatest movie of all time actually is. Because fuck Citizen Kane. That movie fucking sucks.
That's another thing I wanted to talk to you. We didn't have enough time. It's about the movies. I went on your page, on your Instagram page, because for some reason I wasn't following you on my main page. And
You got a lot of pages.
I know, it's fucking annoying, to be quite honest. And I was looking at your I saw that you had a podcast. I'm like, oh, you got a podcast with it? And I started looking at it. I was like, oh, shit, movie shit. I was like, man, I fucking love movies. I wanted to talk to you about a bunch of movies. But anyway, let's get the heck out of here. Thank you so much for coming through. And thank you for listening. I see you later. Love you. Mwah. Bye.
You're listening to my dad of the Vic Cedeno.